Hi everyone, welcome to the channel once again. In this video, we will study about arrays. Now, what are arrays? Arrays are collection of elements identified by index. Now, you see here in the table, this is the index and this is the data. Generally, in arrays, in most of the languages, they start with 0, but however, there are exceptions also. At 0th position, I have saved 23, at first 78 to 88, 3 different numbers, 88, 88. Now, if you want to save something like this and it can be fetched directly with the index, you can declare the array. Now arrays can be single dimensional also, like this is the example of a single dimensional in which the index and the data is there. It could be multi-dimensional also, like two dimensional, and it can be jagged also, like two dimensional with different sizes. This is the example of single dimensional array. This is the example of 2D array. I say, what is the 2D array? Now this is you recognize it as a table. Now at even position there could be this here table, and for each array like this itself, E1, E2, E3, this is an array, and in each array cell there is this array, horizontal array. You can imagine like this. Now if suppose you want to access this data, it could be 0, 1, 2, so the x would be 2, and like x-axis you can write 2, and then y is 0, 1, so 0, 1. So if you want to access this position, you will write 2, 1. Now if you want to access this position, how you will do? 0, 1, 2, 3. Now this is the third position, and this 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 and 3. So this is how it's two-dimensional array. Now there could be jagged array also, like this is the homogeneous. In this array, each element is having array of the same size, but there could be a possibility where E2 has only 2 elements, E3 has 5 elements, and E4 has 7 elements. There could be a possibility. Now this would be called as jagged array. You see, this is the example of jagged array. Now in this array, you see 3 elements are there. In the next element 2 are there. In the next 2 are there, and in the next 4 are there. So here each position has the same number of elements, but here its number of elements are different. So this is the example of jagged array. We'll go and see in the lab. So let's go and see in the lab how we can do it. Now I'll show in different languages. This is just to emphasize that these data structures are indifferent through the languages. Now I'm using this j2doodle.com. Here you can it's an online compiler. You can use it for your practice. Now you see in this main, this is the single dimensional array, integer array, which is saving the homogeneous integer type. Test I have declared. I have written 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Now at 0th position is 3, 1, 4. Second position 0, 1, 2 is 4. Third position 5, 6. So I am accessing this 0th position. So what will be the value? Test 0 would be 3. So it will write 3. Okay, so let's run this and see the output. You see the first is 3. First console, this is 3. Now I'll comment this first, and then it would be clear. Now if I run, you see the output would be 3. How 3? Because this is the variable I have declared, integer array I have declared, and I am accessing test 0th position. Suppose if I declare 4th position, what would happen? This would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what would be the answer? 6 would be answer. You see 6, correct? Now if I by mistake 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 5 elements are there, and I mention is 7. So what will happen? It will throw an error because index out of range. Like you are trying to index out of range exception. Means the array has only these many elements, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, starting from 0, and you are trying to access the 7th element. So that's why this error. Now I am performing this sum. Now I have initialized one variable sum, integer type of variable, integer data type variable sum, and assigned a value 0. Now I am looping through this array. Now this test is an array. I am looping integer I equal to 0, I less than test.length. Now length is the property of an array which calculates the length. What would be the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 would be the length. I plus plus, and I am summing the value with this one, and then I am printing the sum. So once I go and I'll execute, you will see the sum. Sum is 29. How 29? Now 3, 4, 7, 4, 11, 5, 16, 6, 22, and 7, 29. Now if you want to calculate the average, now for average, you should have the sum and the length. You divide when you have calculated the sum, and you are dividing with the count of that array, so it will calculate the average. You see, average is 4. So this way you you manipulate with the array. Here I am fetching the data and then calculating sum and average. Now this is with C#. The same can be done with the other language also. Only little manipulation in the syntax, but the concept would be same. I'll show you in Swift also how we do it in Swift, so that you will get an idea that this is not very language specific. So I'll go and select the shift, you see, and I'm pasting. Now I have declared this test variable which these many fields 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I want to calculate the count, there is a count method. It will calculate the count, and then it will print the test3 and print the test count. Correct? Now let's go one by one and then see it. So once I'll run this, now you see what it's printing. First is 2. First console write is 2. Now this is first one, 2. What is the 2? Third position of test. This is a test. Third position 0, 1, 2. Third position 2. So it has printed this 2. Correct? Now it is printing the test count. Test count is, this is the test count, the total number of elements in that array. So it's printing test count. How many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you see the 18 count. Correct? Now it's calculating the sum, how we have calculated in the previous example. Only thing is that you see the syntax is changing this shift. For I in test, sum is equal to sum plus I. Same we have done there also, and sum I have initialized with 0, and then I am printing this sum. So sum is, you see, 26, and then the average, sum divided by the test count which we have calculated, and it's printing the average, which is this. So you can see that this is not this array is not the language specific data structure. So this is what. Now I'll show you one example of multi-dimensional array, how multi-dimensional array works. So I'll go and now this I'll show you in JavaScript. Now for JavaScript you have this node.js, which is the execution of JavaScript on server side. So this is, now you see, this is the two-dimensional array. Now I have the food choices. Now this is my this is my array, and inside array there are small arrays. This is the at 0. Now for this big array, this is at 0th position, and this is at 1 position, and inside this array, this is at 0th, this is at first position, this is at second position. So I have two-dimensional array. How I have shown you this. Sorry, I've shown you this. Now you see, this is my array, which is the bigger array, and this is the first position I have this data, and the second position I have this data. Similar to this, you see, this is my big array, which is the outer bracket, and a small array is inside this. Now the first choice would be this, which would be a 0th position. Second choice would be this, which would be a first position. So if I want to access the food choices, first position, like in this 0th position, first position 0th, what would be this? This would be there. So if I go and console first food, I'll comment this, and then you will be able to see it. So So if I run this, you see salad. So this is the salad. Now first choice is this one, second choice is this one, correct? Now the first choice, if 0th position is this, if I want to access the first position, you will go in first, it will go in first position. What is 0th? 0 position and 1 position. So this time soup should come. You see, soup. Similar to that, if I want to access this chicken, what would be the chicken? Chicken would be the second choice and the 0th position, correct? Second choice at 0th position. If I go and comment this is the second choice at 0th position is chicken. So if I'll execute it, it will console write chicken. You see, chicken. This I should comment, otherwise you will get confused. So this is, you see, chicken. If I want to update thing, like suppose in place of chicken I want to update something else, so if I want to update, how you will update it? You will up the second choice, which is the 1, and at 0th position I am writing this string. When I go, I see it will update with this string. So a better way to access this is this one, two-dimensional array. Food choice, this is a food choice. First position would be this, and for this, in first position would be 0 and 1. The soup would be there. You see, this is the first position. So this is 0th position, and this is first position. In first position, the first position 0 and 1. So what would be there? Mutton would be there. So suppose I have to access this soup. So how can I go there? It would be at 0th and 0 and 1 position. So this would be soup. If I go and execute it, it would be soup. So this is this way you can access the two-dimensional arrays. Console.log food choices. This is the food choices. Which position, which array, 0. Now suppose you want to access for this one. Now there is, suppose there is another food item which is there. If I am writing this and I have written this, suppose milk and curd and jam, you write jam. Now if I want to access milk, what will be 0, 1, 2. So you write 2. Now in 2 you want to access milk, 0, 1, 2. So 0. So 2, 0 would be milk. You see, milk. So you this way you access the two-dimensional array. Now in C# I'll explain the zagged array. So I'll go and write this zagged array. I'm showing you in different languages just to emphasize that these are not language specific. Now you see, in the jagged array I have defined this jagged. Now this is the two-dimensional. I have declared new, and horizontal I have declared this 3, but I have not declared in each element what would be the size. Now if you go and see this, the jagged array part, this I have declared that this length would be 1, 2, 3, but in each element what would be the length of the array inside that I have not defined it. We will define in runtime. So I have defined one jagged array, new third item. 0th item I am declaring 2 length, and in first item I am putting in 9. And if I want to assign, you see jagged 0, 0, 8 I am assigning, zagged 0, 1, 10 I am assigning, similar to that I am assigning. So and if I go and run this, you see the console.write add 0 to zagged 2, 0. Zagged 2, 0, what is? Zagged 1, 1, 2, 2, and 0th position 20. So you see I have not defined the length, like in each element what would be the length, and then at runtime I am assigning at 0th position I am declaring 2, at first position this, and at third position this. So here it's coming from here. So this way you can access this zagged array also. That's all for this. We'll see now the complexity in arrays. Now big annotations. Now fetch, you have seen that it can be fetched through index. So if you are fetching through index, you see you are fetching through 2 and 1, so it can fetch any value, in array any value. So it will be a constant time. Any value will be fetched in constant. You are updating also. Updating also, so update is also constant time. We have seen in the previous example, and here you see you are updating here at first position, at 0th position you are putting the value 9. Now updating is also at constant time because you are not iterating to each elements to reach particular element and then updating. You are directly updating based on the index, so this is also a constant time. So we'll see next. Now insertion. So insertion is a linear time. Worst case scenario, if array is full and if you want to insert at the last, you will iterate through every element and then you will insert. So this will be the linear. And if you want to at the first place, like best scenario would be what? The first place only, and it would be for 1, so it would be a constant time. Otherwise, and it's a linearly based on the size of the array, it would increase because you have to iterate through every element. Search would again the same case. If you want in the linear search, if you want to search any element, you have to iterate through each element and compare and then find the particular element. So again, based on the length of the array, the complexities would depend. Now if it is the first element itself, then obviously a constant time. If you have not find, like if you iterated till the last element and you do not find the element for which you are searching, so you see this is the linear time, and this is the worst case scenario. Now similar with the deletion also, if you are first element only, so obviously n is equal to 1, so 0, and you have to delete a particular element and you are going and comparing and reach to the last and then you are deleting it. So this is obviously the worst case scenario, which will be again linear. So that's all. We'll in the next video we'll cover the linked list and then stack, use, hash table and all. So thank you. If you're liking the videos, please do subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me and it motivates me a lot to make more videos. The channel is in its infant stage, so your support is required for the growth of the channel. So please do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.